Good evening, everybody. My name is Tom Wesner, and I'd like to warmly welcome all of you to the Catalyst webinar. We're going to try and get through this, hopefully in 25 minutes. I think we'll be able to do that, and we'll entertain questions on our chat. A warm welcome to parents and friends and possibly non-BC students. Every year we have a couple of non-Boston College students join us in the Catalyst program, so welcome to all. Again, my name is Tom Wesner. I'm the faculty director of the Carroll School of Management Summer Catalyst program. My colleague, Ali Galati, is on the call on this webinar with us, and she'll be helping me manage the chat function, and she will try to answer as many questions as she can within our 25 to 30-minute time frame for the call. I'll start the presentation with just a concise overview of the program and then share some slides. For those of you that can see, I think some of you are calling in and can't see slides maybe. And again, feel free to add any questions to the chat. And you can also please email us at catalyst@bc.edu if we're for some reason unable to get to your question tonight. So we're approaching our 9th summer of the Catalyst program, and we have had over 500 students successfully complete the program. We're really proud of this. It's been a tremendously important program and a game changer for many of our students who have graduated from the program. Catalyst was designed to provide an opportunity for our absolutely terrific liberal arts students to become familiar with and to gain a strong knowledge base in the functional areas of management. And while a decent percentage of Catalyst grads every year end up declaring a minor in the Carroll School, many do not. But regardless, right, a distinct advantage of the program is that students can get an opportunity to try out, right, and get a taste, get a sense of the disciplines that they might be interested in pursuing or declaring as a minor, or that they might not. So one of the benefits of the program is students learn what accountants do, they learn what marketers do, right? But they might not want to pursue that, but at least they're competent and knowledgeable about what those folks and those professionals do day in and day out. So no matter what type of work our students want to pursue eventually, for-profit, nonprofit, knowing the fundamentals of business and the language of business is our goal during our 8 weeks together in the summer. We know at BC that employers love Boston College students, and Catalyst graduates, always report to us that the employers say, well, what is the Carroll School of Management on your resume? What are you doing? What is that program? Tell me about that, right? So the students will have Morrissey College of Arts and Sciences, and then they'll have the Carroll School of Management. And so it helps students stand out, and then they're able to talk about their curiosity, their motivation, and it demonstrates really that they're committed, right, as young people, because they're going to take an 8-week kind of boot camp program in the summer, right, in the middle of the summer heat, and it shows grit and tenacity. And employers, we know like that. Now, last year we had our largest summer cohort ever. Although we planned an in-person program, COVID, required that we shift to entirely remote. And it went so well that this year, while we'll be offering our traditional in-person program, we are adding a remote option. And so it's our 9th year, as I said. We've really refined and made tweaks to the program every year, and it's just humming along nicely. And it's such a delight and a privilege to be with your sons and daughters for the 8 weeks of the summer, and many of them go on and continue to visit and take our upper courses along the way in finance or marketing or accounting. And so welcome again. So if you can see my screen, what is the Catalyst program? Again, it's an intensive full-time 8-week 11-credit program designed for non-business students. So the Carroll School of Management students are not invited to apply, because essentially we offer, a brief version of the core that they take as part of their core requirement as business students. So it's full-time, and what full-time means, I'll talk about it a little later, is, almost 5 hours a day of class. Essentially on Eastern Standard Time, the in-person program would go an hour later to accommodate West Coast students in our remote program. Students start class around 9:30 to 11:40, and then they come back at 12:30 and go to about 2:45. So it's 5 hours of class almost a day. And in the evening, there will be homework and maybe some group work. And so for those 8 weeks, and it's about 4 days a week of class, it's pretty intense and there's a good amount of work. But, 11 credits, right? Students typically get 15 credits in a regular semester. With 5 classes, getting 11 credits is going to require that they cram more work in and do more work in those 8 weeks. Importantly, and this is significant, our program is taught by top-rated professors in the Carroll School of Management. They're the professors who, on the first day of signups for classes, their classes fill right away. And so the students are getting excellent teachers who are high energy and who know what it's like to teach in Catalyst, because they teach every summer. And they really enjoy teaching in the program. They like kind of the curiosity that maybe liberal arts students bring, not just is this going to be on the exam type of question, but they like the big picture, multidisciplinary approach that students bring to the classroom that are arts and sciences students. So again, for non-business majors. Okay, so the benefits of the program. Students will develop, foundational understanding, right? And the key functional areas in management. So no matter where a student goes, for profit, nonprofit, they need to know what the accountants do, right? They need to know how important the work of the accountants are, and the marketing team, right? And the financial people, the financial advisors, investors, right? They need to understand the language of business. Business law is another offering. Talk about that in a minute. The program satisfies prerequisites for higher level courses within the Carroll School, and several of our courses count towards minors if students want to pursue a minor. The program is ideal for students going abroad who might need some extra credits or work towards completion of a minor, right? Or their credit requirement to graduate on time in 4 years. Students obtain, skills and build resumes. We have a career component in the program, a career practicum, we call it, where students work on resume writing, cover letter writing, interviewing skills. And we have a career night where students get to meet our alumni who recruit BC students regularly. And in particular, they'll help recruit and advise Catalyst students. In the past 2 summers, most all of the recruiters that came back for our career night or career event were Catalyst grads who went on to business positions where now they recruit at BC. So it's kind of a win-win-win. So it's liberal arts graduates meeting liberal arts students, all of whom either attended or are attending Catalyst. And that's kind of a neat aspect of the program that we're allowed to provide now that we're in our 9th year. How is the program structured? So the program runs from May 24th, and that's an important day. It's the day after university commencement at BC. And I mention that because every year we have a couple of seniors who are graduating who take the program. So we start the day after commencement, and it runs generally every Tuesday through Friday through July 15th. There are pretty much 4 days a week of classes. We try to give long weekends most of the weeks. And we have a Memorial Day, of course, holiday. And we give the 4th of July off with, we're almost done with the schedule with probably an extra day as well. So a little bit of a nice long weekend, a 4-day weekend we're shooting for. The coursework is divided into full courses and modules or mini courses, right? And that would be the Excel program we have and the career development program. So here are the courses. Students will take financial accounting with Professor Ed Taylor, who's great teacher, and or Professor Tom Whalen, two excellent teachers. They take marketing principles, Professor Curbs, and then they take either fundamentals of finance or business law. Students get a choice. Sometimes we found over the years that some students might not be as comfortable, or they might be more interested in law than finance. So they get a choice and they get to make that election. Whatever they choose, they stick with for the program. But either way, they're all 3 credit courses. And the accounting, marketing, and finance courses can count towards a minor in the Carroll School of Management. And so in some cases, and I can explain it if I meet with you offline, students can get 2 of the 6 required courses towards a minor done during their 8 weeks with us. And that's significant. So that's time well spent. And again, for students that might want to just taste and see before they commit, the program is excellent in that case too, because oftentimes students will just declare a minor without really knowing what that minor requires of them. So Catalyst is a good bridge in to see and to confirm one's interest before they commit. And the career skills module, again, that's Excel and career strategies, presentation skills. Students create a LinkedIn profile. They get a picture up. They really start to think about how they're going to present themselves to the world, right? And to work on their resume so that they can market themselves and really think about where they might belong in the world of work. So here's the credit breakdown, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. The 3 courses, full courses the students have to take, and that's 15 classes for each course, right? That has a midterm and a final exam, and it's the same course they'd get during the regular semester, but compressed into 8 weeks. So there's 3 credit courses, and then the 2 credit career module. So the effect on transcripts, parents often ask about this. They say, well, is this just an enrichment program? Parents were emailing me today saying, is this similar to other programs that are offered during the summer at other universities? You know, I think our program is very unique. We've looked at the other programs. You know, ours is a credit-based program. It's not just enrichment, right, or exposure. It's really for credit. Other universities in the past accept our credits at their schools. And it's fully intense classes, not just a week or 2 of exposure to something. So it's a real substantive class and program. So the grades will appear on the transcript and will be factored into the student's grade point average. So it does affect their GPA. So these courses do matter. And the career skills module are 1 credit class each, but they're pass-fail. So they're not graded, but they are pass-fail. So students have to do the work. And then at the end, we have a ceremony, either in person or in the fall when students come back, and we award their certificates to them at a dinner. The cost of the program, and so this is important to know. The cost of the program for the 11 credits is $14,500, and that includes all the books and the learning materials. For students that take the remote program, we mail these out. The bookstore mails these out to everyone. And for those that take it on campus, students can pick up a packet of all their materials in the bookstore. We work closely with the bookstore on providing students with all their materials. BC Housing, I should be clear, neither the university nor BC Housing in particular have made final decisions yet about in-person summer classes. We're very hopeful. I mean, we're back on campus. The mask mandate has lapsed. The COVID trends in New England, at least, and around are trending in the right direction. I think folks are learning to live with it. So we're fully anticipating to be back in person and hopefully to have housing open a dorm for our Catalyst students. If we are in person and no decision has been made on housing, or a decision is made that our students can't live on housing for some reason, there's a lot of opportunity for students to sublease just off and immediately next to campus, because many of you know our students junior year, most have 3 years, so they have to rent off campus, and then they have units and homes available for the summertime when our students go home, but still have leases that run through August. There's tons of opportunity, and we really try and help students find other Catalyst students to live with every summer anyway. So parents shouldn't be concerned about that. And we'll be addressing that next week at our information session for students who are in the process of applying. That's going to be next Thursday night at 5 o'clock here in Fulton Hall. Students can see that on our website or follow up with me or at the Catalyst email. So lastly, here on the slide, a limited number of need-based scholarships are available. The University Financial Aid Office decides and controls that decision as far as what a student might be eligible for. And if the student's admitted and they apply for the financial aid by next week, a week from, or February 8th, then they could be considered for financial aid based on whether they already receive aid from the university. So who should apply? Non-Carroll school students, right? Education, every year we have a couple of Lynch School of Education and Human Development students apply. We've had a couple of nurses, a couple of Carroll School of Nurses, a couple of Carroll School of Nursing students apply over the years. They might be interested in healthcare management or healthcare administration, or just the business world. They might want to go on and get an MBA after nursing, right? And just have diverse interests. But typically, for the most part, it's Morrissey College students. And then again, a couple maybe of non-BC students every summer. Last year, we had a cohort of 90. We had 90 students. And the year before that, it was 88. So we usually have about 3 sections of 30 around. That's kind of our goal, 32, 33. So we have a nice critical mass of students in the room. There's a lot of good energy. Students make friends with one another from different years in particular. It's really a joy to see because we'll have, rising sophomores meeting and hanging out with rising seniors and becoming friends with people that they'd never meet otherwise, and doing group projects with, and they kind of learn from each other. And the older students at BC really do an excellent job mentoring the younger students. So graduating seniors, right? A prerequisite, we ask that students show that they've taken at least one math course, and we accept an AP math class. Some haven't yet taken math at BC, so that's not used against an applicant, especially, a freshman or sophomore who hasn't taken their math yet. But most all students have had to take an AP math class to get into BC. So the application we look at is the student's course transcript, their track record as a student at BC, again, depending on their year. Freshmen have only taken one full semester when they apply to Catalyst. The major they're taking, a lot of students have a tough first semester. They might be in a major that's not well suited for them, and they might have some academic difficulties, but they're super smart and they're hardworking. They just haven't found a home yet. So we take all of that into account. They also submit their resume, statement of any extracurriculars, which have been tough during COVID. We realize that. So we look at everything in the totality, of the circumstances. And then they write a brief essay as well that tells us what, characteristics they would bring to Catalyst and how would they, enrich the cohort. It's a cohort model. So everyone kind of travels around together in the program. And BC students are excellent. We know the course of study they're taking here. So we know their grades here at BC, a 3.0 is a B average at Boston College. That's, students get hung up on grades often, but that's not a bad GPA, right? Students are used to 3.8s and 3.9s in high school, 4.0s, 4.2s, but we take everything into consideration. The application is open until March 15th. And that's a week after spring break. A lot of our students, when we survey them, we ask them, why did you apply? And many say, my parents made me, or my parents got a letter from your dean. And I say, yes, they did. Or they heard about it from a friend, And so we figure that spring break is a good time for students to figure out that they want to apply, to start thinking about summer and to get it in. So it's a week after they return from spring break that it's due. There's a $50 application fee. Admission decisions are made by our committee and will be sent out by the first week of April. And the deposit for the program, which is outlined in acceptance letters, is due by the beginning of May. Here's a picture of the last in-person graduating class we had in Fulton Hall with their diplomas, their certificates. And I can't see any questions coming up. Are there any questions, Allie, for me? I'm looking at my chat. I welcome questions. Allie's reminding all that this presentation is being recorded and it will be posted on our website. I see a great question about the typical acceptance rate. I think that that's a novel case or issue of first impression because we have never offered an in-person and a remote program yet. So assuming, applications are coming in now, they're trending as they did the past couple of years. The program enjoys a strong reputation. So I'd say it's competitive but with a heart, right? BC selective with a heart and with a wise head. We know we look at students when they come to us. If a freshman comes in for office hours, we know the freshman's going to be raising certain issues that are different from what a junior or a senior is going to be thinking about. So we know even the way the resume, they're works in progress, right? As accomplished as they are as young people. So Catalyst is selective with a heart and with wise heads. We take everything into account. We look for curiosity, desire, grit. Sometimes students are trying to turn things around. They may have made bad decisions in the fall of freshman year and got written up, or something happened, but they're all excellent young people. So we factor in everything, but we want to make sure the student can make it. It's a demanding program, and but we also meet the students along the way. Many of them come in to meet with us, and we welcome that. Boston College have social events for Catalyst students. Yes, obviously it's a lot easier for the in-person class to get together because they're together physically. And so we have some pizza Fridays, might have a barbecue out on the lawn a couple times, might go on a trip, around town, around Boston or something, a harbor cruise, try and get the young people together to make friends and to build community, right? So that they're friends after Catalyst. A lot of these students are going to work together, they live together. And now it's a little bit different for the remote students because they're choosing to take it remotely, but they have group projects and then they get back together on campus together for our reunion, plural reunions we have every year. And students know how to network and follow up with each other. They're excellent. Our students are excellent at socializing and making friends, but we do try and create an atmosphere that's conducive to friend making. So we don't have an acceptance rate per se, is one of the questions. And distribution of students, excellent. We take everything into account. Certainly if a student, many times, like I said, a senior will apply because they're starting a job in October and they want to learn the language of business and just learn. They're not taking it for grades. And every year we get a couple, and it amazes us how mature they are and how much they add to the classroom with their leadership and their wisdom. But generally, I think more of the applicants come as rising sophomores and juniors because they want to take, business classes and then maybe try and get an internship junior year. But again, there are juniors that apply that are rising seniors that didn't get an internship or that are just figuring out that they're going to have to get a job someday. So they say, well, maybe it's time for me to get serious and start to learn about business. We have English, philosophy majors, history majors, a lot of economics majors, all types that take Catalyst. And they do very well. Our faculty are fascinated with what A&S students bring to the classroom in terms of that big picture mind and that openness to growth and that real curiosity. They're kind of not taking the program for grades, and that's not their interest more. So maybe, let's see, do students get internships? Yes, great question. Many students work the second half of the summer. They leave here and work for a month at home. We advise students not to work during this program because it's just a lot of work. If they do something part-time on a weekend or something, that's fine and that's worked, but we generally think these 8 weeks students should really be students because it's an intense program. There are exams and projects, and they have to be together at night working in groups. Let's see, the completion of the program. Will it help students get into upper level CSUM classes? So many of the students, just to be clear, decide in our program to proceed with a minor. And so when they're proceeding and they've declared a minor in the Carroll School of Management, this gives them a little bit of headway towards that minor. So the answer is yes, they can then pursue and they're closer to attaining that minor. Let's see. I don't see any more questions that haven't been answered by Allie, and I'm coming up at 6:27. So I think we've done our best. Allie's firing away and answering. We will follow up with the longer questions maybe that we couldn't get to, trying to watch time and be attentive to time at 6:28 here on the East Coast. I will say maybe in closing that I hope this webinar was helpful for families, for parents. We adore your sons and daughters at BC. As I said, we've had over 500 students go through this program, and to a person, they come back and they want to be ambassadors and recruit roommates and friends to take Catalyst because they start to take themselves seriously in a new way. Many say, I never knew that I could figure out business. I was intimidated by the business school. Now I know what all my business school, Carroll School friends take, right? And what they're learning. And I can compete with anybody. And that's kind of the confidence boost our graduates walk away from Catalyst with. And building confidence is what we're trying to do as educators. And at Boston College, we have such great students to work with. All we kind of have to do sometimes is just feed them, and they can run with anyone. And so I thank you all for joining us. I welcome any phone calls or emails to me. I know Ali Galati, my excellent colleague, does as well. And please follow up at catalyst@bc.edu or send your son or daughter to our info session next Thursday at 5 p.m. in Fulton Hall on the 5th floor. We'll look forward to meeting them and getting to know them as they apply, if they decide to apply. So I hope tonight was helpful. It's a pleasure to talk about this wonderful program. And we're grateful to have all of you as parents at Boston College. Have a great night, everybody.